What's up, Cartastic ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another episode in this PTCGO series. Today is Fun Friday and we have built a fun deck around Mega Gyarados EX. As always, if you want to skip the deck analysis, just click the annotation on the screen or skip to around the 4 or 5 minute mark and it will take you straight to the battles. Probably be more like 6-7 minutes for this episode because I've got quite a few things to talk about in the deck analysis. So, Mega Gyarados over here has 240 hit points, basically is a beast of a Pokemon, and has got the Blast Geyser attack, does 120 as the base for 4 colorless energy. You may do 20 more damage for each water energy attached to this Pokemon, but you have to discard the top 2 cards of your deck if you decide to do so. That means that this Gyarados can hit for 200 damage if you attach 4 water energies, and even 220 or more if you attach 5 or more. Which is basically most megas in the meta right now have 220 hit points or below, except for like Primal Groudon, but you don't see them too often. So if you have 5 energies on this Mega Gyarados, you are most likely knocking out most Pokemon in the meta at the moment. We are playing 2 copies of the Mega Gyarados and 2 copies of the Gyarados EX. And that's it for the Gyarados line, only 2-2 line. Then we play 2 copies of Toad, 1 copy of Manaphy for free retreat if we have water energies attached to our Pokemon, 1 copy of Articuno, and 2 copies of Shaymin EX. Shaymin EX is used for setup, of course, and occasionally a Sky Return if the Shaymin gets Lysandered out. Now the question is, why are we only running a 2-2 line of the Gyarados? And why are we running these other Pokemon here? Well, right now, the Mega Gyarados is not very reliable in the meta. It's not that good because you have got Pokemon like Joltik and Manectric running wild. And as we look at the weakness of the Mega Gyarados, you can tell it is lightning weak. So if a Joltik comes out to play or a Manectric comes out to play, it is very likely to knock out this Mega Gyarados EX in the active spot in 1 turn, and down goes all your effort of powering up that Mega Gyarados EX, and you're likely not be able to power up another Mega Gyarados EX for the next turn because it needs so many energies. That's why we cannot completely rely on Mega Gyarados EX, and that's why we need some support Pokemon for it. The support Pokemon or the main support Pokemon is Seismitoad EX. Seismitoad with Quaking Punch, which will allow us to stall our opponent. If we are facing Night March or Manectric, we will definitely be playing Seismitoad EX, starting off with it, and probably never be playing the Gyarados. Because of the lightning weakness. We will, however, be playing the Articuno when we face Night March because it allows us to take 2 prizes when we knock out a Joltik with the Articuno. Now, if we are facing any other deck, the main strategy will be, or the general strategy will be, to start off with Seismitoad, lock our opponent from item cards, and meanwhile we set up the Mega Gyarados on the bench. When it is ready, we switch out between the Seismitoad and the Mega Gyarados using the Manaphy, and we hit hard on our opponent's Megas. This is especially useful against decks with big Pokemon like Groudon, like Mega Mewtwo. We can just knock them out in 1 turn after having set up the Gyarados on the bench. Now it isn't too bad to start off with the Gyarados against non-Night March decks or other decks like the Groudon. You can still definitely pull it off because we run a whole ton of energy acceleration in this deck. This energy acceleration helps to power up the Mega Gyarados, but helps to power up the Seismitoad as well as this Articuno. And the acceleration I'm talking about is the Max Elixir, which allows us to look at the top 6 cards of our deck, attach a basic energy card we find there to a basic Pokemon on our bench. Since we only play basic Pokemon except for the 2 Mega copies, we will be able to use this Max Elixir quite frequently. We run 9 water energies, meaning that most of the time we will be able to attach an energy with the Max Elixir. We also run 3 DCEs for the Toad as well as the Shaymin and the Gyarados. Now, some more energy acceleration are these 2 Mega Turbos. These will be used exclusively for the Mega Gyarados EX, and we will be getting energies in a discard pile with this Battle Compressor, 3 copies of those, and we will also be getting some other cards in the discard pile with it, like this Skyla. Very useful to get the Spirit Links for the Gyarados, which we run 2 of, or a Floatstone, or even a Fighting Fury Belt for our Articuno or for our Seismitoad, even maybe for our Manaphy, or who knows, even our Shaymin. So a lot of different possibilities with this deck. This deck has a lot of outs depending on the situation that you face, and that's why I quite like this deck. We play, of course, 3 Rough Seas to heal off damage from our water Pokemon. Then what's left here? The draw support, 3 Sycamores and 2 Birches, as well as 4 Ultra Balls, 3 Trainer's Mail, and 4 VS Seekers to get our supporters. There's the 1 Lysander, which we will probably discard with the Battle Compressors to get back with VS Seekers later on. And the last card that I haven't talked about yet in this deck is these 4 time puzzles. The 4 puzzles of time. Yes, that's right. I put 4 puzzles of time in this deck, and they actually work quite well. So, for example, you can discard some cards with your Battle Compressor, like this Gyarados Spirit Link, or like the Fighting Fury Belt, maybe even a Stadium, or maybe even a Shaymin EX, depending on the situation. And then if you have 2 puzzle of times in your hand, you can get those cards back from your discard pile and use them as you see fit. That's why this combination of Battle Compressor and Puzzle of Time is so very powerful. Now, if you only have 1 copy of Puzzle of Time in your hand, you can still make use of it, because you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck and put them back in any order, which can help you out tremendously if you are in top deck mode, which does happen sometimes, because, you know, that's the PTCGO. You don't always start off with a good hand, and that is how this deck works. I must say it is quite important with this deck to play your cards down in the right order. That is very important. For example, if you use the Puzzle of Time before you use the Max Elixir, then your use of the Puzzle of Time will have been well, useless, because this Max Elixir shuffled your deck, and that means that the card you put at the top of your deck won't be there anymore. And that's just one example, but there are many more examples where it is very important to, for example, discard the right cards in your discard pile in order to run this deck consistently. Now, without further ado, let me showcase this deck to you. I will find myself an opponent, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more deck ideas. Alright then, here we go. Alright, here we go. We are facing Dem Hat Cheese with a whole bunch of type of Pokemon there. Dem Hat Cheese. Yeah, I don't know why I laughed at it. I just think it's a funny name. You lost a coin flip. No. Well, hopefully we can start out with a Toad then. If we lose the coin flip, might as well. But we do not. We get the DCE, but we do not start off with the Toad. We start off with Gyarados. Gyarados in the active spot. We have the Spirit Link, but we don't have much of anything else here. This is a Gengar deck. Oh man, that's going to be annoying for us. We need that Toad ASAP here. Yeah, we definitely need it ASAP. Yes, I would like to draw into another card. We get a Battle Compressor. We need a VS Seeker of some sorts. That is what we need right now. Or an Ultra Ball, which my opponent does have in his hand. Goes for a Remoraid. That means my opponent doesn't play any Shaymin, probably, and attaches to the Noibat. Noibat Gengar here can become very threatening very soon, but we do play the Stadium to heal off some damage. Get another Gyarados, might as well play it down. Attach a Spirit Link, go with the Max Elixir, which we do get an energy from. Then we will play the Floatstone on this Gyarados. We will attach a DCE to the Gyarados on the bench. It is nearly powered up already. And then we will Battle Compress some cards here. We will Battle Compress a Sycamore. We will Battle Compress, what else is there? A Skyla for sure. That's what we will Battle Compress. And this Water Energy, so we can use that Mega Turbo at some point. Now we'll go for the Puzzle of Time, guaranteeing ourselves our next top deck. And our next top deck will be this Mega Gyarados. Look at that. We will have Our Mega Gyarados going next turn, fully powered up with this Mega Turbo. Fantastic. Here comes the Evo Soda going for the Noivern. Oh no, going for the Octillery, which would allow my opponent to draw to 4 more cards. And he will need a double Dragon Energy as well as a Noivern to start doing damage to us and put some pressure on us. Goes for the Sycamore, discarding a teammate. Does he get the Noivern and the double Dragon Energy? That's the question here. It doesn't seem to get it. Attaches to the Noibat on the bench. That's good for us, because then we can switch into the Gyarados here and start doing some damage to my opponent. We will retreat into the Mega Gyarados. Get that energy from our discard pile onto the Mega Gyarados. We will go for a Blast Geyser. No need to discard some cards here. This Haunter is knocked out already. Can we get something from this? Oh, we get a Puzzle of Time. That's okay. That is something we can use here. Here comes the Noibat. Probably going to evolve into the Noivern this turn. If not, then my opponent is really unlucky. Goes for the VS Seeker. Is he going to go for the Sycamore? No, goes for the teammates. Okay, so that means my opponent can get the double Dragon Energy and the Noivern right now, which will potentially block damage done to the Noivern. So we will have to pray for some good coin flips. We have a 50% chance of hitting that Noivern. And my opponent has a 100% chance of hitting us with his Boom Burst here. So what we need to get now is a Stadium so we can heal off that damage from the Noivern. Here comes the Rare Candy. My opponent is ready to knock out this Mega Gyarados this turn with the Gengar, well, next turn, because he's going to do a Boom Burst and then he can retreat into a Gengar. We need that Stadium. We get a Water Energy, but no Stadium so far. Get a Max Elixir. I will have to go for the Ultra Ball for next turn. That is the only hope we have right now. This Mega Gyarados will most likely go down. Ah man, this is not very good for us. I'll actually I don't know what I should do here. I won't discard, because then I will discard my Ultra Ball. I do knock out the Noivern, but we will get knocked out next turn. We drew into a Water Energy. That is very sad. Our opponent promotes another Noivern. I am not sure why he does that. Oh, he's going to go for the Noivern Break. My opponent must not have had a Psychic Energy then, because he can definitely knock out this Mega Gyarados. Goes for the teammates right now. I am not sure I understand what my opponent is doing here at the moment, because he could have gone for the Creep Show, knocked out our Mega Gyarados, but he seems to want to go for a Synchro Woofer. Or maybe another Boom Burst. He can do either. Goes for another Noibat. Yes, I am a bit confused by my opponent's tactics. Goes for the Boom Burst. Yes, I'm not sure what the point was of that. We get the Ultra Ball. Let's go for the Shaymin. We were allowed to come back by the grace of my opponent, by his choice, for some reason. Let's go for the Shaymin. And we get... that was weird. That was very weird. We get a Toad. I think I will power up the Toad actually. And we get one Water Energy. And I will get another. Look at that. Just like that, the Toad is powered up. And might as well put the Shaymin down. We need that Stadium right now. Yeah, something very weird is happening here. even get a Manaphy. I will attach, let's see here. Let's see. I will attach this water energy to the Gyarados on the bench. And I will retreat into the Toad. And I will go for a Birch. We need that stadium. Where are our stadiums? We do get heads. Can we get the stadium? We do get the stadium here. Finally, we have got the stadium. And there we go. And we start healing off some damage here from our benched Pokemon. We can't evolve this Mega Gyarados because it's got a Floatstone on it. That's okay. We don't need to necessarily evolve it. We will go for a Quaking Punch. Next turn we can go for the Skyla and get a... what is it called? Fighting Fury Belt, that's right, onto the Toad. My opponent discounted the stadium right away. That's a bit annoying. Goes for the Abyssal Hand. Right now my opponent is item locked, so he can't do all that much. As soon as we heal off those Pokemon on the bench, we will replace them. No, goes for the Shaymin here. Why would you go for the Shaymin? Why don't you... Well, for the Synchro Woofer probably. Goes for another Blue Burst. Hitting 30 across the board. And we don't draw into much of anything here. We don't have another Floatstone. I'm going to go for the Sycamore then, I think. Or we will practice the same tactics that my opponent does if we have a Lysander, but we do not have a Lysander. That is very sad. Sycamore it is. Sycamore it is. Sycamore all of these cards away. And we get the stadium. Yes, very good. Here we go. Heal up some of that damage. Then we'll attach this DCE to the Shaymin and Sky Return. Heads again, so unfortunately we don't do any damage to the Noivern in the active spot. That's very unfortunate. But at least we took some damage off the Shaymin. Opponent goes for a Professor's Letter. This is a very, very long and drawn out match so far. So finally got to attach an energy to the Gengar. And even goes for an Ultra Ball, getting rid of the Sycamore. No, the Birch. We saw Birch and a Sycamore. Evolves into another Noivern. My goodness, my goodness. What will my opponent do now? Goes for a Boom Burst. I don't know why my opponent keeps going for the Boom Burst here. I'm not sure. Probably going to try and knock out that Shaymin there. Yeah, I'm not sure what we should do here. Let's see. If only we could pick up that Shaymin. If only. Let's go for the Trainer's Mail. Get a Puzzle of Time. A Battle Compressor and a Fighting Fury Belt. I'll go for the Fighting Fury Belt. And put that on the Shaymin here. Giving it a little bit longer to last. And then we will go for the... well, the Quaking Punch, I am assuming here. That seems like the play. Can we flip Tails though? Yes, we do flip Tails this time. Hitting that annoying Noivern break. We will need to flip Tails 5 more times here to knock it out. 4 more times, sorry. Well, my opponent draws into some more cards. and gets another Noivern break going. We need that damage of this Gyarados on the bench, then we can start attacking. Well, my opponent also goes for a Birch, flips heads. That means my opponent might deck out before we do. If this Shaymin becomes, well, gets in the range, knockout range, we will attach a DCE and get it back into our hand, because we can just retreat into it. Here comes the Haunter. Does he decide to confuse both active Pokemon? That's the question here. I hope he does, because then we can retreat into the Toad here, and we will just Sky Return to Shaymin. He does not decide to do so, he goes for the Boom Burst. We will again heal up the damage, and then we will, let's see, what should we do here? We'll just keep Quaking Punching. Heads again. Very unfortunate there, all these heads. Ah. Here comes the Gengar. Wow, this is a very long match here. Very long. Yeah, I am very curious to see who will win this, because I am not sure at all. We are behind in the prize trade. We do lock my opponent at the moment, but we need to get rid of the damage. I keep saying it, I know, but it is so very important. Okay, now it's time to switch into the Shaymin. We will do so. Retreat the Toad into the Shaymin. Do a Sky Return, and then we'll promote the Toad once more. Again, we flipped heads. We keep flipping heads. And we will keep the Shaymins in our hand now. Give our opponent one more turn of item cards. Here comes the Startling Megaphone. Discards. Oh, very nice. Discards the Floatstone. That means we can attach a Spirit Link, but we don't have any in our hands. And my opponent can now use a Lysander to... Oh, goes for a Super Rod. Can now use a Lysander to Lysander out the Mega Gyarados and knock it out. That is a possibility. He doesn't need a Stadium to play down. Goes for an Energy, Ghastly, and a Haunter. And an Abyssal Hand. I think my opponent should be careful here about the deck out, because he will deck out sooner than we do. We only used 2 VS Seekers. That means we have some more. I think we should have some more in our deck. Oh, goes for a Judge. So that means my opponent is going to deck out for sure now before us, before we do. Attaches to the Gengar. Is he going to use the Lysander? No, he does not. Goes for the Synchro Woofer. Hits for 70. We will heal off that Synchro Woofer damage, and now we are completely healed up. We can use the Mega Gyarados here. We shall try and go for that. Retreat into the Mega Gyarados. And we will hit for the Blast Geyser. We don't want to do any more damage. And tails it is, yes, we knock out the annoying Noivern. Finally we do. Whew. Wow. Wait, did I say that we were behind in the prize trade? I think I did. I think I said that before. But we are ahead in the prize trade. What was I talking about? I was confused, very confused there for some reason. Yeah, I switched my opponent's prize cards, the count with my prize cards. We are definitely ahead, 3 prizes versus 6. So my opponent needs to knock out 3 of our EXs before he decks out, which is in 6 cards. That's what my opponent needs to do. He can Lysander out the Toad on the bench to knock it out with the Gengar. That's one thing he can do. But that's the only thing he can do to knock us out. Goes for the Synchro Woofer. That means we will retreat into the Toad here. And we will keep playing the game. Playing the game that my opponent's playing. Retreat into the Toad and go for a Quaking Punch. We hit heads again, but at least we item lock our opponent. And that's how this deck basically works. You use both the power of the Gyarados and the ability of the Toad to knock out Pokemon. My opponent does promote the Gengar. Does he have the Lysander in his hands? That's the question here. Goes for the Bridget. It's the Ghastly on his bench. And then Sinister Fog. Poisoning the Toad in the active spot. That's okay, we can heal off that damage. There we go, just like that. I might as well... No, well, I'll keep the Fighting Fury belt in my hand. There's no real need to attach it to anything. And we will knock out this Gengar with the Gyarados on the bench for a Gas Blazer. We do need to discard some cards here to knock it out. Discard a DCE and a Double Compressor. Here we go, down to 2 prizes. We even get a Water Energy, which we can attach to the Manaphy if our opponent licenses out the Manaphy to retreat it. I think this is game here. I think our opponent has no real way of threatening us right now. Goes for a VS Seeker. For a Birch. Does he have a Lysander? He does have a Lysander in his discard pile. I'm not sure why he hasn't used it yet. And another Judge. Which I think he already had 3 cards in his discard pile, so it didn't do much for him. Oh, look at that. We get a Mega Turbo. We can definitely use that Mega Turbo, although there is no real need for it. And misses out on the Synchro Woofer again, because we've got 4 cards and he's only got 2 in his hand. We do not have the Stadium, however, which is a bit annoying here. Let's see. We definitely need that Stadium. Might as well use these cards. Go for another energy attachment to the Mega Gyarados, and then we'll discard our hand and dig for that Stadium, which we failed to dig out. Let's go for the Super Rod then, get some Pokemon back into our deck, fill up our deck a little bit, prevent that deck out from happening. We'll go for the Trainer's Mail. We've got a Puzzle of Time then, so we can get the Stadium with the Puzzle of Time here. Excellent stuff, excellent stuff. I will play 2 copies, yes, yes please. And I will get 2 Stadiums back, just because I can. Just because I can. Stadium on the floor, and my opponent concedes the match. Wow, that was a very nice matchup, I think. It's one of those matchups that you don't encounter much, where it's a very long and equal game, and really exciting to play because you don't know for sure who is going to win. It turns out we won this game. I think we played quite well here. I think we used our tactics very well, switching out between the Toad and the Gyarados, going for the Gyarados when we needed to or when we could. And if we couldn't, then just item locking my opponent. I think this shows the power of this deck. We did start off with a very bad hand, but for some reason we managed to come back. I'm still not sure how. But yes, this was a very nice game. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you did too. If you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more deck ideas. I hope you have a Karptastic day, and I will see you next time.
Karp, 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 Karp.